Welcome back, everyone, and our next session is with California. A reminder before we start to have your cell phone silenced, please. When you ask a question, raise your hand and wait for the microphone, and please identify your name and affiliation. If you're joining on Zoom, please raise your hand. We'll get to you when we're done with this group in the room here. And finally, one introduction before we start with student athletes. We have Assistant Director of Communications, Anish Patel, in the room. So if any questions can go to him also. And with us today, we have two student athletes. We have Marta Suarez and we have Lulu Twydale. What we'll do is we'll start with questions from the audience. Right over here.
Hi, Sabrina Merchant, The Athletic. For either of you, after having the conference schedule that you guys had this year going all over the country, what was the reaction on Selection Sunday when you guys got to stay in California?
Very excited. We knew, especially keeping the same time change, just a short flight right here. We have a lot of people from SoCal too, so we know then we come to the game, we're going to have a lot of support, at least a little bit more than in Greensboro, you know.
We do have a couple questions from Zoom. While we're waiting for other questions in the room, let me try to get those plugged in here. Justin, we're okay? Okay, we'll go to Marta and Jimmy.
Hi, Marissa and Jimmy, San Francisco Chronicle. For both of you, I'm just curious, what do you think about the matchup with Mississippi State? How do you guys feel like you match up with them?
Hey, Marissa.
Okay. They're obviously a really good team, but I think we know if we come to tomorrow with our best selves, we're going to be fine. I think we trust in the work we've done. We've been going through the scout. Heidi's done a really good job of giving us a good scout of what we need to do, so we're confident in what we need to do tomorrow. If we come out as our best selves, I think we're going to do great.
Yeah, I think we've had a couple SEC matchups this year that has gotten us ready for that. And definitely, like she said, the work of the coaches to have a good scout, to have a good game plan for it. But then it's just going to come down to us playing our game and see what the matchup looks like.
Okay, we'll go to Thomas Dunn.
This one's for Marta. You and Ioana Sunday emphasize enjoying the moment and soaking up the experience. I was curious to this point how you've actually enjoyed the experience to this point, understandably haven't played a game yet.
I mean, it definitely has a different feeling. I don't think we were aware of it until we got here, until we got packed to come to the NCAAs. But there's something very different. I think we have a very good feeling. There's a very good vibe within the team. We're very excited about this opportunity. For most of us, it's the first tournament game. So and it's something that it's always, as a basketball player, it's always something that you look up to. March is a very fun month, and I think we're excited to be a part of it this year.
Hello, ladies. Cece from USC Trojans Wired. Love the accents, by the way. I just want to ask questions so I can continue to hear you guys speak. But my question is, as you know, Kayla Williams used to play here at USC, and has she spoken about how it feels for her to come back to play on the USC floor at all?
I mean, I think that's something that obviously we have in mind. Also the fact that Lindsay was a coach at Cal, there's a lot of connections there. We talk about it. It's not something that we have present towards the game. I think we're just kind of like trying to be in the moment in what our team does. But it definitely, I think it adds a certain point of like hunger and excitement for the game that I think it plays in our favor. I think we're ready for it.
We can go back to Zoom here. We'll go to Don Shenham.
Hey, question for both of you. As a senior-laden team, what has it meant for this journey? You get to play a little bit longer together. And how have you been trying to, I'm going to say, leverage this moment for Lulu, especially as you go forward with your college career after this game and this weekend?
Yeah, for me, I think like you said, we have a lot of seniors in the team, so I just feel really appreciative that I get the opportunity to play more basketball with them. I'm obviously going to miss them. They've been there with me since my freshman year, so yeah, I just am really grateful that I get the opportunity to play with them more.
Don, did you have another question? Your hand is still raised.
No, I'm sorry, Al Lord. Thank you.
Okay.
Martha, you mentioned that you guys have had some success against SEC teams. I think it was Alabama and Auburn, right? What did you learn about, I guess, just that conference's style of play from those games?
We're also, of course, a lot of basketball fans in our team, so we watch good basketball. We know the SEC has very good competitive basketball. We know they're physical. We know the ACC may be a little bit more finesse, a little bit more shooters and stuff. I know it's gonna be a physical game. It's gonna be a fast game. It's gonna come to boxing out. They have a very big body in the paint that we're preparing for. But I think it matches up well against us. I think we can run. We can space the floor. We can find our shooters. Create some space in the paint for us to attack. So a lot of respect, but definitely a lot of confidence too.
And you've played against Mississippi State before too, right? In your previous lifetime.
Yes, exactly. My previous lifetimes. That's a very good way to put it. Yeah, I always talk about that when it comes to media. Like I feel very fortunate to have experienced SEC, Pac-12, and now ACC. It's been very cool to see the change in the differences among conferences. But I must say, I think as the years go by, I think we're all trending towards a more similar type of basketball where there's just a lot more new skilled very good players. I think every year there's more shooters, there's more stretch fours. The basketball is I feel like it's kind of tending towards a similar way of playing. I did think my freshman year, the SEC was way more physical, big body, strong, fast, more athletic versus Pac-12, for example. To me, it seemed a lot more shooters, a lot more kind of like European basketball like that. I think right now every conference is starting to look a lot more similar where there's a very good balance of it all. So it comes to matchups and it comes to, hey, who's the better team when we step on that court on that day?
Any other questions for the student athletes? Nobody on Zoom? Okay. Thank you for coming in, and
Thank you, guys.
we'll have
Thank you.
We'll have Coach Smith in a little bit here. Okay, now I'd like to welcome California coach Sharman Smith. We'll ask Coach to make an opening comment, and then we'll take questions from the group.
All right. Well, obviously really excited to be here. Looking forward to competing tomorrow. Watching a ton of film on Mississippi State, and it's that 8-9 game, so we know we have our hands full, but we're excited, and I think we'll be prepared and ready to go.
Questions?
Hey, Coach. Sabrina Merchant, The Athletic. After all of the travel you guys have had to do this year, was it kind of a relief to get assigned to Los Angeles? Do you think it gives you guys at all an advantage in this particular matchup?
I told the team wherever we end up, we're excited, we're happy, we're dancing. Did we want to be an 8 seed? No. Are we excited that we've already oversold our block of tickets and we'll have a ton of fans here in SoCal? Yes, that's exciting, and it was a really short charter flight for the first time, so there are definitely positives, and like I said, we're happy to be playing in the big dance, and just really looking forward to it.
Let's go to Zoom. We have a question. We'll go to Thomas Dunn.
Thomas Dunn, right for California. Sharman, you've had lots of runs in this tournament as a player, as an assistant. I was wondering if you could compare and contrast your experiences now that you're doing it for the first time as a head coach.
Yeah, it's very different. As a player, you're just so freaking clueless to everything that stresses you out as a coach. You just expect to go, and of course you're going to win, and nobody can beat you, and you just keep moving on, and you just have no idea what goes into all of this. And then as an assistant coach, it's still not all on you, right? And it's a different type of pressure. Maybe if it's your scout, you're really oh, come on, I got to have a great game plan and that type of thing. If it's not your scout, you're allowed to look ahead just a little bit and planning for the next scout. As a head coach, this is completely different. It's very different, and I'm enjoying every minute of it, and I'm so just proud of this team for getting us here and everything that we've been through this season, and a new conference that forced us to take 5 trips cross country in this season. I just love this team, and I'm really, really proud. And then to even go back to my head coaching tenure and the journey that I've been on with Michelle during this time, we have a lot to be proud of and a lot to be excited about, and I just want it to keep going. But yes, it's very different as a head coach.
Questions? Coach, maybe could you talk about the matchup tomorrow and what you expect?
Yeah, they're a really good team. Sam does a great job. I'll start with a cot inside. Having someone with that type of size and that type of efficiency is a big deal, and something that we have to prepare for. And sometimes we look and we're like, oh, Michelle, there's a huge advantage there, and they've got someone with formidable size there that we've got to be ready for. And then Jordan is really explosive on the perimeter. They're really good, and they have weapons. You can't leave Poe open. She's a lethal shooter, so I know that defensively they can get after it. So we've got to be ourselves. You heard our players talk about when we're the best version of ourselves, we feel really confident, and what that means is we've got to take care of the ball, right? We've got to knock down shots when we're open, and then be really locked in defensively to guard people and protect the paint without fouling.
Any others? Let me go back to Thomas Dunn. Okay, Thomas.
Sharman, I was curious on the balance. You've emphasized cleaning up turnovers and the process in which you guys have started to attack it throughout the course of this season. I was curious if Mississippi State starts turning you over, how you emphasize not overcoaching them and saying we have to make it through these mistakes and knowing that our plan of attack will eventually win out in the end.
Yeah, Some of it is we are who we are, and we've won a lot of games against some really good teams with turnovers that drive my sports supervisor crazy. Right? He hates turnovers, but we can also do some things really well. I think we're locked in. I think we've spent however a week to 10 days here, really emphasizing ball security, taking care of the ball, getting shots up, and being able to attack offensively. I think we'll do well. I think our players are ready for this moment. And I think playing in the ACC against some really good defensive teams have helped prepare us for this moment as well.
Okay, we'll go back to Zoom to Don Shannon. Go ahead, Don.
Coach Smith, the OCOT versus OEM matchup is going to be one of the keys for the game. What specifically you've been coaching for Michelle? What's the specific feedback on that matchup to hopefully get an advantage there?
Yeah, the one thing that stays consistent for Michelle every single game is defend without fouling. We need her on the floor. We are a much better team when Michelle is on the floor. Sometimes it doesn't even mean that she has to score. She commands attention defensively. That frees up our shooters. She's great when she's in defensive ball screen coverage, that we need her there for Jordan and Russell off the bench, right? Like, she's got to be on the floor. And if she can, finish over a cotton and put pressure on her and potentially get her in foul trouble, I think that's a bonus. But I'm just happy when 0 is in the game for Cal.
Coach, I know you and Coach Gottlieb from USC have a go back. Does it mean anything to be in the same building with her in this site? Have you guys passed in the hallways and talked? Or?
I just went to see if she was in her office, but I think they already practiced, so she wasn't there. Lindsay and I talk pretty much every day. It's kind of slid more to texting over the last couple of days instead of talking. But I'm really happy for her and what she's been able to do at USC, and I think she feels the same way about what we're doing at Cal, and we each just want to win tomorrow.
Any other questions? Going once? Nobody on Zoom? Coach, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
All right, thank you.